of reality and enter another world. Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.
Beyond. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Beyond, episode 319. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the Dark Knight of News, Andrew Goldfarb.
Hi, Greg.
Hey, how you doing?
Not bad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Feeling all right?
Yeah, playing
Got
some
those
PS4.
muscly little arms?
The musty little arms. Well, that doesn't sounds like an oxymoron. There's cat hair on this. I don't even have a cat. That's kind of weird.
I don't want to know what you do when you leave this building. And, of course, next to him, the Pride of Long Island, Colin Moriarty.
Greetings and salutations.
How you doing, Colin?
I'm all right.
You're looking good.
Thanks.
Got that PlayStation off your shoulders?
Musty little arms.
Actually, you look at...
Flabby,
Actually, you got...
flabby little...
You got one of those. You got one of those eye things. You got the broken blood vessels there.
Oh.
It's like you got a broken blood vessel in your eye.
Really?
Yeah, like 28 days later or whatever. Like you're
I have
gonna.
that too.
Does that go away or is that permanent?
No, it'll go away.
No, that's it. Your eye. You lost that eye.
Or you're a zombie. Or
Yeah.
you, actually, I guess you're immune to the zombie. Not immune. What is it? You're a carrier of the zombie thing. You don't have to worry about it. You kiss anybody though, you're screwed.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I don't kiss anyone.
Goldfarb's weekend plans are ruined. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this is IGN's PlayStation Podcast, the number one PlayStation podcast on the internet. Thank you so much for your support. We post it every Tuesday, and we're happy to be here to answer your questions. So, what do you want to talk about today, Moriarty?
No, let's wrap it up.
All right, it's been a good one. We did one of these on Friday.
Yeah.
That way we could talk about PlayStation 4 embargoes, reviews, and whatnots.
And then we spent a weekend with it.
Yeah. How do you feel now?
I really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't done any live streaming stuff. I'll do that eventually.
You gotta get on that.
But I'm playing.
Greg Miller's doing it.
I like Resogun a lot. I used a
Game
Colin
over,
Moriarty pro tip last night to get a silver trophy.
Yeah.
In what now? You did that in what?
In Resogun.
What's the pro tip?
There's a trophy for saving 2 humans in 2 seconds.
Uh-huh.
But you can only carry 1 human at a time. So I use Colin Moriarty's pro tip, which is to carry one while you shoot the other one. And you shoot him up to the little portal, and then you rescue the one you're carrying.
Oh, dear.
I'm
really
untouchable. I'm untouchable in Resogun.
Yeah, you ran in yesterday and interrupted my Twitch.tv game over
I have the 142nd highest score in the world.
So you're untouchable except by 141 other people.
Right.
But he means of his peers.
Yeah.
You have more than triple my score.
So I was having like the game of a lifetime. I played it once.
Like it's like Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Surely the good Lord wouldn't ruin.
And I just wouldn't. I just couldn't look away. My girlfriend was trying to talk to me. I'm like, it has to wait.
It's like
I
the
was
Michael
like
Jordan
breathing.
flu
I was
game.
breathing in and out like as if I was running or something like that. Because I like couldn't believe that what was happening. Because I got all the way to the 4th world without dying, and never lost my multiplier, which is what.
Wow.
Which is what, and got all the way up to 10. Which is what is necessary to get these high scores. And when you get up there, the scores just start going, like, it's huge. Like, the scores get huge. And, God, I love that game. I love that game.
It's amazing.
That game is
it's
just
fun.
so fucking
It's a lot of
good,
fun.
man.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to try to platinum it. I was not even really thinking about the platinum because I just enjoy playing it, but the platinum's actually kind of easy.
A lot of people have gotten it. Yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
are tweeting at us that the first platinum was Resogun for them, both PlayStation 4 and otherwise.
My first was Sound Chase. My first PS4.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I think it's not easy, but it's attainable. I think I'm too bad at the game to ever get it. Like I can't imagine ever getting
the hardest one is you have to beat the game without dying, like losing all your lives.
Yeah.
And you have to save all the humans.
Yeah.
But you can save all the humans probably on rookie or
You do
whatever.
have rookie. Yeah, I've done the first level saving the humans without even. I did it inadvertently.
The
Actually,
major problem with that game in terms of difficulty is how hard the last boss is. The last boss is really hard. And I don't. It's like I don't really quite understand how to dodge a part of it. Like I just keep dying over and over again because I haven't even beaten the game all the way. Like I haven't even beaten the last boss. I just start from the beginning and play until I get a high score, and then I get to the last boss every time, and he kills me. So I'm just trying to play it very organically. But
Gotcha.
That's the other thing about saving all the humans. I did it in the second level, but then I died, and you have to save all the humans and beat that level to get the trophy.
Yeah.
So what are you playing then? What's the game
lots of Resogun and Need for Speed.
Oh yeah, you've been talking about that Need for Speed.
Yeah, I like Need for Speed a lot. I keep I'm not crazy about the fact that like it is that like you have to be a connected online thing. So it's like you can't step away. Like I got a phone call and I was on the phone and I got busted and lost like all of my progress that I had gotten for the entire night at one point, which sucks.
Maybe
also,
you shouldn't accept Anthony Guy's phone calls.
That's probably what it is. Also, I think it's weird that maybe they're gonna add dedicated servers or something, but it's weird that if the host leaves, it just says host migrating and spits you out into a random part of the level, and again you lose progress. So it's like between me just sucking and actually getting busted and losing progress, and like things that are out of my control, like the game crashed twice and some stuff happening. It was just frustrating. It was a really fun game that became frustrating because I lost progress like 4 times.
Gotcha.
But it's still really good. I really like Need for Speed. Like I played a lot of Most Wanted last year, and Rivals is really good. And then I think I'm gonna start Assassins tonight. Probably.
Ooh, you're in for it. That's what I've been playing nonstop and
really
streaming
excited.
nonstop, and I love that. And the remote playing it last night. We were watching that Monday Night Football, Colin. I was laying on the couch playing that Assassin's Creed. Woo, doggies!
Now-
I'm very upset. I have to go to Japan next week for a vacation. Not gonna be able to play any more Assassin's Creed.
So
I
I
play Rainbow Moon.
I've done a little bit of remote play. I haven't done it yet. This is probably a stupid question, but with like Killzone or whatever, like, do you not have like what do you do about the extra shoulder buttons?
They put them on the back touchpad.
So it's on back touch. And what about clicking the analog sticks?
I mean, it depends on what it is. Like for Assassin's Creed, like they map the sticks to the bottom corners of the front touchscreen.
Interesting.
So you click in there, and then on the back there, it's L1 and R1.
Awesome. That's
And
cool.
then they put dead zones around the sides of the screen and on the back too, so you're not always touching it. Like you can put your fingers comfortably back there.
Very cool.
Yeah, very well done.
Yeah.
Very
Very well done.
Let's not forget
Good job,
let's not forget our friend PS Vita as well. In
Yeah.
terms of original games. It's a good time to be an RPG gamer right now.
It's a good time to be a Vita gamer.
I've been playing Sorcery Saga, which is a game from Compile Heart. So Axis will publish that next month in December. I have it, and I've just been messing with it. It's a cool little roguelike, and we'll have an exclusive preview on that soon. That's not going to be a game for everyone by any stretch of the imagination. But that's cool. And Memories of Celceta comes out next week, and I should be getting that game.
Wise?
Wise, yes.
Why is this happening to me?
I think that is probably the Vita game this year I'm most excited about. So
Really?
I'm really,
Wow.
really, and I can't believe how I actually reached out to PR about this, and they're not ready. Like the codes aren't ready, and I'm like, I can't. Like this doesn't seem like a game you would not be confident in from what I've played and seen. Like this game, I think is going to be good. And
Conception 2 got announced.
Yeah, Conception 2 is announced for Vita and 3DS, which is cool. Atlas is doing that. And we got our Rainbow Moon codes today. Rainbow Moon doesn't come out till December, but we have the game really early. And I'll be giving away codes of that soon. We're just waiting for the cross-save patch to go live before we do.
So you can transfer
your saves.
Awesome. Yeah. Wow. That's huge for a JRPG.
Yeah, it's going through
Maybe you'll finally get to the level cap now.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, I'm just gonna play the whole game all over again on Vita and then transfer my save to PS3.
Awesome.
Because if you remember correctly, this was when The Sopranos broke the debug that I was playing, and I had Rainbow Moon on it, so I lost all of these trophies. And I was playing the game.
It wasn't a debug; it was a retail.
Oh, then we're thinking of a different one. Then this is another
time you broke a PS3.
Yeah. And what's disappointing is that I was playing the game on hard mode, and you don't even have to get all. So the game was like gruelingly hard. Like and
you can't switch it.
Yeah, like you can't switch back. And I was like, shit.
I think the debug that broke was BioShock Infinite. That was the one that got stuck in the disc tray, and that one broke.
Yeah, a lot of our PS3. Well, thank God we don't really need them anymore.
Yeah,
for just a few games like Gran Turismo, and that's about it.
Yeah. Last of Us DLC.
Mm-hmm.
Colin.
Yes.
You said it's a good time to be a Vita gamer. You know what? Why else? Apparently, this Tearaway is coming out.
Oh, that's true.
Friday. Andrew Goldfarb has beaten Tearaway.
I have.
Now, here's, ladies and gentlemen, where we break Podcast Beyond history. New ground, if you will. This is something interesting. Goldfarb has beaten Tearaway. However, he is embargoed from talking about Tearaway until tonight at midnight. So, here's how it's going to work. The audio version we are going to drop out in a second. It'll be seamless to you. No time will have passed to you. But we are
It'll
going
be like
to
traveling in space.
We're basically going to do, for the first time
Your family's
ever,
all older now. And
we're putting out the Podcast Beyond video edition that will be extended. There will be extra. We're putting it behind a paywall. There's DLC you got to download. All this,
and it's on the disc.
None of that's really happening. But it's an easy way for us to get around the fact that we can't talk about it now.
Right.
And
we can tomorrow.
My plan is always to post the audio version and the video version in the same article, but the video version takes like years to render and do everything.
Right.
So when this posts on Wednesday, then you'll be able to watch the video and see it. But here on the show, we have to stop talking about Tearaway right now. All right, Goldfarb, what do you got for me?
Tearaway is so good. It's incredible. I really, really love that game. But that, to me, is now in my top 5 Vita games.
Holy fuck, really?
Yeah, that game is so smart and so good. And the way it uses Vita's mechanics is brilliant. Like, honestly, like if they wouldn't lose money by doing it, that should just be pre-installed in every Vita. Because it is the smartest indication of what Vita can do when you build a game from the ground up with each of those mechanics in mind. Like, everything about it is so smart. And like, I don't want to spoil each of those experiences, but like the discovery in the game each time they add a new mechanic, and the clever, because like when the game starts, you can't jump, you walk around, you basically just use the back touch in the beginning. That's like the whole first like 20-30 minutes of the game. It's like the big thing is like you always say, like putting your fingers through the back touch and moving the objects around and stuff. But as the platforming gets more complicated, you get progressively more and more mechanics, both in terms of the stuff in the environment you can use and the features of the Vita you can use. And so by the end, by like the late stage levels, it's like really, really, really complicated, and it's like legitimately difficult platforming.
Interesting. That makes me excited because like I give you shit about this all the time at the office. Is that I played the preview code of it, and I probably only played like 10 or 15 minutes, but I was like, what is this? This is
right.
I mean, I'm the son. The character's running around. I'm poking out the back. I'm just like, what? Okay, whatever. I'm done.
I mean, the story's actually pretty good. I like the story by the end, but the very rough version of the early part of the story is that like, so Iota is the messenger who you're playing as, and then there's the player is in the sun, like you see your own face, and that they keep saying that Iota has a U, and so like they're like, oh, like you can't get past here unless you have a U, but like you do have a U because he's the player. So it's like it's this like clever little thing where like basically the things that you're doing to manipulate the Vita is essentially manipulating the world that these characters live in. And so as it gets more complicated, like it's actually really cool because Iota is getting to parts of the world that no one has necessarily seen before because they haven't had like assistance.
Interesting.
It's really cool, and I don't know, like the game is just super charming. It's really smart about how you earn things and how like you collect things and how you customize both Iota and the world around you. And it's like really cool because like so there's like a point in the game where it's like, oh, like you should light these torches, draw a flame, and you draw a flame like using construction paper. And then for the entire rest of the game, every time there's a flame, it's the flame that you drew.
Oh, that's cute.
And it's like you meet a character and it's like, oh man, like this character like needs a face, and you put a face on it and you add stickers and you do whatever you want to it. And then for the rest of the game, every time you encounter that character, it looks like how you made it, and every cutscene looks like how you made it. So like by the end of the game, when all of that stuff adds up, like it is all you. It is your version of Tearaway that only you created, and everything in it is the thing that you made. And so like there's like a camera system in the game, which is actually really smart because you have like these multiple lenses, multiple filters. And there's certain things in the world that are white. They're just like stark white. And when you take a picture of them, their form is revealed. And then you unlock a papercraft model that you can then like, if you were nerdy, you could like print out from online and like build it in real paper. But it's
Have
cool
you done that
because
yet? You big nerd.
I'm not that nerdy. Okay. I might do it just for like Iota. But I mean, it's cool because again, like as you get each of those, like then those things exist in the world, and it's just so smart. That game is so pretty and fun and charming.
Okay.
Highly recommend it. It comes out on the same day as like a Mario game, a Zelda game, and Xbox One.
Yeah, I don't understand why it's coming out that day.
I'm worried about it, but really.
Well, there's every reason to be worried about it, no matter how good it is.
Yeah.
Because it's like just totally.
It's a
obscure
puppeteer.
Vita game. Yeah, like Media Molecule makes great games, and I was very skeptical about Tearaway from what I had played because I just don't understand what it is, and I still don't really understand what it is. But I'll play it. I gave my copy to Goldfarb, so I didn't have time to play it, so I'll get another one. But their games sell. Like Little Big Planet's really obtuse to a lot of people, and that game actually sells. So
yeah.
Maybe this game does do well for a Vita game, but it's a little mystifying why they didn't try to rush this out a little sooner, to be honest.
And it was like that's the weird thing is they delayed it, which is interesting because like
get it away from Killzone, I guess. But
yeah, I mean it's interesting because I can say what our review score is now because this is going up after.
Well, as long as it's locked in. Is it locked in? It's not your review, so you don't.
Yeah, that's true. The score is very good.
Okay.
It was in the nines. Okay. And so
watch again 8-7 now. Dan Stapleton cuts him down.
If that's the case, I was just kidding. But I mean, either way, right? It's still we gave it a very, very positive review, and like I think I'm hoping, like I obviously haven't seen other reviews, but I'm hoping maybe this gets if a lot of people feel the same way, maybe it gets more of like critical reception that can help it, sell or have some legs.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I really, really, really love that game, and I want to. Some of the trophies are hard, but I ended with like 40%. I think I would like to try and go for the platinum. We'll see.
Well, one of the cool things I thought that the game does that I noticed at E3, and I assume it carries over in the final version of the game, is how inclusionary it tries to be in terms of, like, Iota is one of the messengers, but there is a female messenger, right?
Yes,
you can play as, and when you have like your fingers and stuff in the game, like you can select like the skin color,
the finger size, the skin color, and
it's kind of neat. Like I think that's kind of cool since it's trying to put you into the game, even though it's not really your finger.
Yeah,
it looks like if you're you're a black guy, then you can make it like a black finger black, so it looks like you're not playing as.
Yeah, and
you know,
it's
the
also
generic white dude or whatever.
So you pick the male or female messenger, and that also affects how you're referred to in the game. So it's like there's kind of this like funny dynamic of like almost like these dueling like a banter between these two different like narrators, almost like the Little Big Planet narrator, except it's like there are two of them. But it's funny because like again that whether you're male or female affects like the things they say and how they approach you and stuff.
It's cool. I mean,
It's
a media molecule game. I mean,
it is like,
so we'll see. We'll see. You know, we'll see.
It is the most media molecule.
And I mean that in a positive
way. It's really eccentric. It's really weird. I mean, if you like hate Little Big Planet, then maybe this isn't for you. But like for me, man, this is like exactly what I wanted. Like I just wanted it to be super cute and charming and you know have a lot of personality, and it totally has that.
All right, cool. Well, welcome back to the audio podcast, everybody. If you want to hear Goldfarb's thoughts on Tearaway, along with a few of our own gems from Colin and I, we slapped them into the open net, if you know what I'm saying. You can check it out Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on IGN.com. Let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news.
I love how it gets later every week.
This isn't that bad.
Like
15 minutes in. We've done it before. We did it at 45 minutes.
There are 6 items on the list. Short list, considering we just did the podcast like 36 hours ago. Number 1, the PlayStation 4 sold 1 million units, and it only took a single day of availability in 2 countries to reach that number. These numbers are exceptionally impressive. This is perhaps the greatest console launch in terms of numbers sold in industry history. And here's a little context. I found this on a grid that someone linked me from the forum NeoGAF.
I've heard of them.
In the U.S. in its first month, and I was extrapolating the numbers from a bar graph, so these are approximations, so forgive me if I'm a little off. In the U.S. in its first month, the GBA sold just under 900,000 units, the Xbox 700,000 units, the GameCube 650,000, and this is in the U.S., is just to verify, just to let everyone knows it's not worldwide. The Nintendo DS 450,000, the PSP 600,000, the Xbox 360 300,000, the PS3 200,000, the Wii 450,000, the 3DS 400,000, the Vita 200,000, and the Wii U 425,000. Again, this is in its first month.
Not its first day.
Yeah, its first day of availability.
That's crazy.
So console gaming isn't only dead, or not dead rather. It's alive. It's alive and well, right? Like this was the thing that was really getting me online. Was everyone, you know, for years, I always thought it was really obvious that iOS and Android gaming was going to crater. Like it's suffering under the own weight of its own. There's too many games. There's no discovery on there. It's something that Justin Davis, who is our mobile editor, would often talk about, which is like he would call the race to the bottom. It's what developers call, where it's like you can't charge money, you can't make people do anything in the games. They don't want to pay for anything. Like so, consoles are alive and well. And if the Xbox One sells even remotely as good as the PS4 does, and it'll launch in like 22 countries, right, or something.
Do you think it's going to?
I don't. I think it'll do over 1 million in all of the territories, but it's launching like in the PS4 is only out in Canada and the US.
Yeah.
And it sold 1 million.
Yeah.
Will the Xbox One sell 1 million in Canada and the US? No. But it will sell 1 million, more than 1 million in all of the territories it's launching, because it's launching in Europe and stuff like that. Once the PS4 comes out in Europe, mainland Europe and England, and then in some of the other territories in the Middle East and in Brazil and all these other places, PS4 is like good for 3 or 4 million before the end of the calendar year, I think. Nonetheless.
Oh yeah. I mean that's what they so like what they wanted.
By March it's 5.5 or
that's what their goal is, yeah. And like I think that seems attainable. I mean, especially because like word of mouth on PS4 is really good right now. Like yeah, there have been like minor hardware issues that seem to be not very widespread that people are talking about, but like the people who are sitting down and playing PS4 and especially like the Twitch live streaming stuff is like attracting people to come in. They're like that looks really fun.
Anthony from Houston, Texas writes into beyond.ign.com, says, I am writing to inform you that I was one of the unfortunate who had pre-ordered a PS4 from Amazon only to have it arrive dead on arrival. I can't get any video output to work, can't get online, blah, 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 blah. After 2 hours with customer service, my issue was left unresolved, but Sony promised to send me a coffin for my stillborn PS4 with a promise that they would try to have it back to me within 7 to 9 business days. My question to the Beyond crew is, do you think that issues like this are at least as common as the infamous Xbox 360 Red Ring of Death, that the Xbox One could overcome all of Sony's momentum gained at E3 and come away with the early lead?
Is he asking if they are as common, or he's saying if they were?
I think he means if they're as common as the Red Ring of Death.
I mean, the Red Ring of Death, from what I understand, was like significantly over the 50% mark. It was like more than half of those systems within like 3 years died. And this is like, as of right now, there's no evidence that this is anywhere even remotely close to that. Like I think the number somebody said more recently, they originally said 0.4%, and now they're just sticking with less than 1% of units are affected by these issues. So it's like, I
pretty
think,
good.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, to put that in perspective again, the Xbox 360. I mean, I believe what like most people say is that eventually all units were affected by the Xbox thing because it was a design flaw, whereas this seems to be like maybe a manufacturing issue or something with a very specific subset. So,
right.
I mean, no, I don't think right now that this is anything that would affect sales momentum or anything.
Yeah, it's one of those. I mean, my canary in the coal mine here is that my cousin, who has children back in Illinois, texted me about the fact of like, hey, does it play PS1 games? Does it play PS2 games? Blah, blah, blah. All these questions about buying it for her family. And then also she's like, oh, and I also heard that like there might be problems with some of them. Like that was like her least concern, right? That she's like, because it's just like a murmur to the mainstream consumer that something's wrong.
Yeah, I think. All right, so like one of our PS4s broke in the office.
Yeah.
And it seemed like what I've garnered from the information I've read online and from people tweeting at us and stuff. It seems like this lets itself be known pretty soon. Like it seems like it's a faulty HDMI port, and it's not something that like you play for. We don't know. It's been out for only a few days, but it seems like they're broken or they're not.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then like so the Red Ring of Death thing is different because that actually showed itself in 2007. Really, right? Like late 2006, early 2007, when the systems were out in the wild already and everyone started breaking. That like wasn't something that happened to a lot of Xbox 360s right off the bat. It was something that happened over time. So there might be a separate issue with PS4s in the future that might break half of them. I don't know, but it seems like this is when something breaks online, people are very loud about online they're very loud about it, and they have every right to be. They paid $400 and it should work, and that sucks. Like I would be so pissed if my PS4 didn't work. Yeah. But at the same time, you can't extrapolate numbers based on that. You kind of have to trust Sony when they say it's 0.4% or whatever.
And all the Amazon reviews that popped up.
Yeah, that's
like,
so
those
stupid. I thought you could only review things on Amazon if you bought it.
Well, I think that is the case, or I think you can review without it, but it only says verified if you purchased it. But I think the bigger point is like if your system is working great, you're playing your system. You're not reviewing
exactly.
it. Like, the people getting on and writing reviews are the ones who have problems.
I suspect those reviews won't last very long. So.
It's the vocal minority, like we always talk about when we talk about our own comments and people not liking IGN or whatever. But the statistic I go back to is that people are saying all the Amazons are borked or whatever. It's all Amazon. We had one that was broken from IGN, and that was one that we didn't get through Amazon. That's one that I think came through Sony or whatever. I wasn't even here. Yeah. And then we had 16 PS4s delivered to the office, and knock on wood, they're all working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They all came from Amazon. We did that giant unboxing.
Yeah, mine's so far so good. I hope it doesn't break. Use that PlayStation Plus cloud.
Yeah.
But the vocal, you didn't, don't feed into the vocal minority in any respect. I mean, we were talking about, a lot of people have been haters in our comments for our reviews or just about everything else we post. And but when I looked at the PlayStation 4 review numbers just from the day the embargo lifted, which was last Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever it was, over 1 million people read IGN's. Only 6 reviews, 1 million people read them in like 20 hours. So keep that in mind. I know a lot of people try to send us encouraging messages. I've been getting a lot of them being like, don't ignore the haters. Like we kind of do because the numbers kind of speak for themselves, Yep. So in this respect, be cautious, but I wouldn't. There's nothing indicating that PS4s have a fatal flaw, but maybe they rear their ugly head.
Yeah, maybe down the line something does. Who knows?
Number 2, Fumito Ueda, the creator of long-awaited game The Last Guardian, has sounded off on the development
coming any
of the
day
game,
now,
noting that he, quote, feels terribly sorry, end quote, that it's taken so long. Yes, the game is still somehow in development. I assume it's a PlayStation 4 game.
I mean, now it must be. I think you would assume that's the delay. That is the reason for this. Is that they deny it ever went on hiatus? But yeah, it clearly must be PS4.
Number 3, danced around it at that Spike video game show they did from the All Access show.
Well, it's a point of shame for them.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like you always say, like all 3 Uncharted games and The Last of Us came out in the time it's taken to do this. So
yeah, and another Uncharted game was revealed.
Yep. Can they hit 5?
Number 3. Sony promises that PlayStation 4 will be, quote, in good supply, end quote, over the Christmas season. Sony Computer Entertainment CEO Andrew House said that the company is doing its best to meet the overwhelming demand for PS4 while trying to launch the system in countries outside of North America before the end of the year. So I know a lot of people have been tweeting. Someone said, or was Brian Altano's friend or something, right on GameScoop said that he
walked in on Sunday,
and
GameStop market,
bought
right,
one.
Yeah.
But this doesn't seem to be the case for most people.
Yeah.
I assume it's going to be a Wii-like situation for a little while, but I don't think it'll last as long as that.
No way.
Nintendo is an infamous practicer of artificial demand. I mean, they've been doing that since the NES days, and that's like a really smart tactic to make you want to buy something when you see it, which is exactly what happened to me the first 2 times I saw a Wii.
Yep.
Which was months and months and months, almost a year later.
I think it was more than a year later because I bought one for myself at launch, and then my mom wanted one after a while, and like it took so long for us to be able to find one for my mom.
Well, so Sony's tactic is just different. They're going to saturate with whatever units they have. Nintendo doesn't do that because artificial demand works for them, and they create it and it works. I mean, there's no questioning that. But so I think it's going to play out a little differently. Number 4. Final Fantasy X 10-2 HD finally has a Western release date. It'll launch on March 18th, 2014 in North America and March 21st, 2014 in Europe. Strangely, only the PS3 version is referenced in Square Enix's release date announcement. Please don't cancel the Vita version.
Yeah.
Please don't do it.
Please be excited for E3.
The Vita version.
I'm not even
going
to play it if it's not on Vita.
Yeah.
I don't care. Because I turned the PS3 on this weekend, and I just don't want to play it that much anymore. There's going to be a few reasons why I play it, and it's basically over.
You got sexy new hardware. You want to do that. You want to see that.
That would really suck, man.
It's weird that it's coming like 2 weeks after, or I guess it's a little more than that. I guess a month after Lightning Returns. Like after a mainline Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I guess maybe people would be talking about it. I think it's weird that Tales of Exilia 2 and Tales of Symphonia are coming out around that time, too, so you better be careful. Save your money. Number 5. Gran Turismo 6 will introduce microtransactions to the super popular racing series. The PlayStation blog has confirmed that in-game credits will be implemented and can be purchased from the store in huge quantities, like millions of them you can even buy, if the player wants to. There's no word on how much these credits will cost or if there's a way for players to circumvent the entire microtransaction system if they want. I assume there will be.
I mean, yeah, I would assume there will be too, because it's still a $60 game so far as we know. So like, I can't imagine
you can probably earn everything you can buy as well.
Like, I can't imagine for a premium price game that they wouldn't let you just entirely avoid that. That's normally how it goes.
Number 6.
I mean, like, free to play gets vilified a lot, but in general, it's very rare that there's a game where it's like $60 and you have to buy things. Like,
yeah,
I don't think.
I agree. Number 6. Bethesda has trademarked Fallout 4 in Europe, which I'm fucking so stoked about.
God, I can't wait.
The trademark was discovered on the website of the European Union's trademark registry and seems to further confirm that Bethesda Game Studios is indeed working on Fallout 4.
I refuse to believe it until they literally announce it.
You have to assume they're working on it.
They're definitely working on it, but until they announce it, I'm not going to get excited.
I will shit my pants.
Yeah, exactly.
When I see,
could it be as close as VGA's
first
week of December?
That would be awesome. That would be awesome, dude. Fallout 3 and New Vegas are so good.
Yep.
And they didn't make New Vegas, but I actually think
Fallout
New Vegas
3
is arguably a better game. But Fallout 3, it's so gray. New Vegas is gray. You don't even know what you're doing half the time. Like the things you think you're doing are good or bad, and all that kind of shit.
New Vegas has real effects too. Like the battle at the dam at the end is like you can entirely like skip that battle depending on the choices you made earlier in the game, or it can be this huge drawn out thing. Like I like that New Vegas really feels like it has consequences for everything you did, but Fallout 3 is the better game in my opinion. Yeah. Also, New Vegas couldn't exist without Fallout 3.
No, of course. Yeah. I mean, the moment I'll never forget. Fallout 3 is not the first open world game. It's not the first console open world game. It's not the first open world game on a console from Bethesda. Right. But when you walk out of the vault in Fallout 3, that's one of the most magical moments in gaming. Like when you're I can just go anywhere and do whatever I want. Like you just do whatever you want. I for some reason that in 2008 when we played that, I wrote the guide for that game. Like it bowled me over. I was like, Jesus Christ, this game is fucking awesome.
You're saying that because you're in it, you money hat.
I am in it. That's true. I am in the game. Find me at Megaton. But that game's a landmark game.
Yep.
I can't wait to see what they do with that series next, because it's just, especially with the rumors about them going to Massachusetts or something like that. That would be so cool.
Oh yeah, I have no doubt that's what it is, and I think Fallout 3 is the single player game that I spent the most time with this whole generation.
It was my first platinum.
It was I think it was my first. I played on 360. Sorry, it was my first 1,000 out of 1,000. And I maxed out all the DLC, and then even after I had like all the achievements for everything, I think I still just got every side quest done. Like I think there was nothing else I could do in that game even if I wanted to.
Yeah, it's a special game.
That would be. I really, really hope Fallout 4 happens.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. I want it as soon as possible.
What?
I think Skyrim was 2012, right? So,
no, Skyrim was 2011. Fall 2011.
Was it really?
Yep.
Oh wow. So yeah, maybe next Christmas then, like next fall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
Oh dear Lord.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
That would be awesome. Then again, I was really pumped about Skyrim, and I played it for like 10 hours.
Yeah.
But Skyrim was broken.
Fallout 4 is like Half-Life 3. Like, it's like one of those things where I'll believe it when I see it. Like, no matter how many trademarks pop up, and then it's like, oh, never mind, that was a hoax, and how many teaser websites, how many alternate reality things.
What's the deal with that website? That's not theirs?
So, I mean, the registrant, when you look at the Whois, says ZeniMax Media, but it was registered to... So if you compare it to any actual, like, verified ZeniMax site, it was registered with GoDaddy, and it uses its own servers. Like, it doesn't use the ZeniMax.com servers, so it's almost definitely fake.
Interesting. Okay.
Because there would be no reason for them to register it out of Poland using a GoDaddy account. Makes no sense.
Interesting. That's it, Greg.
They wanted to meet Danica Patrick.
Oh.
Colin, I'm pumped for this Fallout 4. But Lord knows when we'll be able to buy it. If I wanted to know what was in stores right now, where could I go?
You're asking me.
Yeah.
The list of upcoming PlayStation software on all your platforms by the IGN editors.
Classic Colin.
Okay. On PlayStation 4, NBA, where is it? I didn't write it down. There it is. NBA Live 14 is available digitally and at
Which
retail.
is a stinker, according to Ryan
it really sucks.
McCaffrey.
Yep.
That's it for PS4. For PS3.
System's dead.
For PS1, they kind of released everything on Friday. On PS3, Adventure Time Explore the Dungeon Because I Don't Know is available.
Like that.
Digitally. Air Conflicts Vietnam is available digitally. Aquapazza is available digitally, and that review's coming maybe later this week, if not early next week. That's a fighting game Atlas is publishing.
Aqua Pizza?
Aqua Pizza.
Ooh, Aqua Pizza.
Arcania, The Complete Tale is available digitally. Banfuse Rock Legends is available at retail.
Okay.
Blood Knights is available digitally. Contrast is available digitally. Dynasty Warrior 6 is available digitally. Farming Simulator is available digitally. Need for Speed Rivals is available at retail and digitally. Soul Calibur 2 HD is available digitally. Stick It to the Man, which is on Vita already, I think is available digitally.
Damn, some games are out, man.
The Walking Dead Game of the Year Edition is available at retail and digitally. Worms Revolution Collection is available digitally. Young Justice Legacy is available retail and digitally.
The cartoon that's canceled gets its own video game. A little late to the party because originally it was supposed to come out in March. Then it went off the radar and you never heard from it again. PR emails were not answered about this game.
It bodes well. Yeah, we can't get a copy from them, so it bodes very well.
Sucks you got that tattoo with March.
I was so excited. Nolan North signed it.
On PS Vita, The Amazing Spider-Man, which is a port of the open world game that came out some time ago.
Are you really?
Yep. Is available retail and digitally. And Tearaway comes out on Friday, and that's retail and digitally as well.
That's it.
Make sure you watch the video version of Podcast Beyond to hear if Andrew Goldfarb likes Tearaway or not.
Oh, yeah, I wonder what I thought of it.
Yeah, you're just chanting. I hate for it. All right, let's jump into some listener mail. Remember, if you want to be part of the show, Beyond at IGN.com, just like Ben C. did. Ben C. writes in and says, Jim Riley, the info boy himself, predicted in Podcast Beyond, episode 195, that the PlayStation 4 would not launch with either Uncharted, Killzone, or God of War. He followed up shortly thereafter with, quote, third-party console exclusives are dead, end quote. Greg, in some capacity, asked to be reminded of this when the PlayStation 4 launched. All right. Thanks, Ben C. Good to know, as always, Jim Riley's right whenever he makes... He didn't bet me anything, thank God.
No, but he was wrong. Killzone did launch with it, and third-party console exclusives aren't dead. Titanfall is exclusive.
So he's wrong all over is what you're saying.
He was right
but he
about
says third-party
console
console exclusives are dead.
So
Titanfall
is
the biggest game on Xbox One.
Yeah.
Well, it's on PC too, guys. Let's not get crazy.
Console exclusive. Well,
I still think that the third-party console exclusive's on its way out. I mean, it's on the road.
Yeah,
I don't think
Souls is a console exclusive.
Okay, let's not go down.
Isn't
the
that second party
dream
that's
route.
published by Sony?
Yeah, that's a good point. I really don't have anything.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a clear
These memories of
right or
Celsius.
wrong. Okay,
Yeah.
Colin, you can leave.
Yeah, and also Killzone did launch with the system.
Okay. So he was Jim Riley was
was
majoritively wrong.
0.33% wrong.
Majoratively? Is that a word?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you
It's
should look up more.
He's using it in the pejorative sense.
Pejoratively.
You guys
There was
crack
more to
me
that
up.
message, wasn't there?
Yeah, in context, Colin also predicted in this episode that Metal Gear Solid 5 would be a PS3 exclusive. Interesting stuff.
Well,
Can't win
it'll
them
be
all.
on PlayStation 3. Didn't you know?
Don't ya know? Remember that show, Bobby's World?
Yeah, I love that,
remember
I love
that,
that
yeah.
show.
Yeah, I watched it all the time. They always call him generic, right? But it was generic.
Yeah,
His last name.
yeah, that's right.
I'm thinking the same show, right? Howie Mandel show?
Yep.
We're on the same page?
Remember what's that movie where Howard Mandel plays a monster and he pees in the kid's apple juice?
Little Monsters with
Little
Fred
Monsters.
Savage.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the
one where the monster's under his...
There's a portal.
Yeah. But is that the one that's told with like a story?
No,
I
I
mean,
think so.
I mean, there is a story.
Where he's like in bed and like his grandfather's reading him a story.
No, that's Princess Bride.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't know why.
Fred Savage was all over it back in
Yeah.
the day, man. I tell you what.
The Wizard as well.
The Wizard, a great video game movie if you haven't seen it. We have some interesting emails here, right? Simon writes in, without no real question, just letting you know that I will be listening to today's podcast in the morning whilst on my way to a job interview, which, if I get, means that I can afford my PS4 in a couple of weeks. Ooh. Any words of encouragement / inspiration would not go amiss. Thanks for everything and beyond, Simon.
Simon, you're going to get this job.
Simon, you go in there, you tear this thing a new asshole.
He's the new CEO of Microsoft.
Colin, what do you got for him?
Good luck. Stay positive.
Just think of it this way. If you screw it up, your life's over. So don't do that. This is the only thing you got going for you.
This is your only shot.
Now here comes an email from our good friend Yerdonin over in Israel. Of course, came to Podcast Beyond 200.
Yeah.
Writes in every
Lost
so
a bunch
often.
of weight. Looks really good.
Yeah. He wrote in that one time when he tweeted us about hitting on that Supergirl when he was dressed as Superman.
That's right.
Beyond.
The
PS3 is a vastly different beast now than it was back in 2006. Where do you think the PlayStation 4 will evolve in the next couple of years? Games, features, etc. Keep up the awesome job, Year.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think it's
hard to predict that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear where we're going with this console, which is
the moon.
Hyper-connected. Yes, the moon.
Yeah.
Hyper-connected, lots of social functionality, sharing games, playing games with other people, but not only playing games with other people, but sharing that experience. Like, you'll feel like you're playing a game with someone even when you're watching them play the game.
Yeah.
And that's not the way I want to play games. That's not the way I want to watch. I don't like... See, the whole thing with streaming is fun, and I'm going to start streaming probably a little bit, but I don't really want to watch other people play games. That's not exciting to me.
You don't have to.
But like that's what I'm saying. That's the beauty of it, is that there's all of this other stuff there for me to do. You know, so there's a little bit of something for everybody. I can remote play. I can watch Netflix. I can watch the hockey games. I can, play my single player games. Greg can use the same machine in a very similar way. Stream his games. People can watch them play or him play the game. Like I love that. It's that's what I love about it the most. Is like I don't like I'm not into multiplayer games. I'm not into like that shared kind of experience with a lot of people, but I don't have to be. And PS4 caters to me nicely.
Yeah.
But if you're into that, then it caters to you.
That's what's crazy about it, right? Is that it has all these different facets to make it the machine you want it to be, right? Like I didn't think I would like streaming as much as I like it, but running around playing Assassin's Creed and just talking to people about what I'm doing or why I'm doing it or what, and they ask me random questions about IGN. I just talk to them about whatever. It's a one-man podcast while getting treasures and trophies. I like that a lot.
What you're doing anyway. I mean,
Treasures and Trophies.
Treasures and Trophies.
That's
with Greg
the name
Miller.
of your new show. He asked if games are going to evolve. Like, hell yes, games are going to. I mean, look at like a PS3 launch title and then look at like The Last of Us.
Folklore?
Like,
Folklore was the pinnacle of the PlayStation 3.
But
Not a launch
like,
title, I know. I'm just saying.
people learn the hardware better. People take advantage of the features better. Like, I have no doubt that in like 5 years, Jesus Christ, PS4 games are going to be crazy.
I can't imagine what they're going to look like, yeah. I think the next big step for them will be YouTube integration. It has to be coming, and when it does, that'll be even more of a game. I mean, is it going to be streaming? Is it going to be that you can upload straight? Like, Microsoft, I didn't know... Today, Microsoft announced that the Twitch TV app is coming, but you're not being able to stream right from your Xbox One on day one, right? It'll come in 2014. I was super bummed about that. I thought that was really weird because I'm enjoying it so much on PS4. However, then they talked about the SkyDrive stuff that I hadn't paid much attention to. Basically, that you can go in and make these 5-minute gameplay or 5-minute long gameplay clips, right? And then take them into a video editor on your Xbox and do picture-in-picture and record commentary over it and have it be like this polished product that you then upload to SkyDrive, which then from your PC you can put up to YouTube directly. And I was like, and it's in 720 because like I my Twitch streams I do archive them and now I export them over to YouTube, but they're like 480. They look terrible. It's
I think
like
they're
whatever.
actually 360p. Yeah,
you can up-res to 480 for sure if that's the case. But putting it up in 720 and actually like so much of my streams are me sitting there with the controller over my head while Portillo sits in my lap. Like to sit there and be like, hey, what's up? It's Greg. I found this really cool thing. I want to show you. I think this is really cool. Watch me kill these guys. Like that's really neat. I don't know if I'd rather have, but the ability to have two completely different experiences on two different consoles. PS4 live streaming, whatever happens. Xbox, here's a clip of something really cool happening. That's neat.
For sure. I need to get a camera. I didn't buy a camera.
I saw an email today. People saying they were sold out everywhere. So you might.
Yeah, the camera is selling well apparently, and I'm gonna try to Twitch a little more, stream whatever the service is a little more thoughtfully, in terms of like. Just doing it when I have something like I'll do it with Resogun, so you too can be an OG like me in Resogun, and I'll show you how to do it. But like when we have games and the embargoes lift, but they're not out yet, right? Like when we have Infamous or The Order, and you want to talk about, by the way, how games will evolve. Just look at The Order, in terms of its like it already looks like. The gameplay we've seen of there's like video.
They break a vase and they the stuff you were telling me about at Gamescom.
Yeah, there's a lot of like really cool like the minutia of these games. The little things that matter, how the physics interact with, like the wind physics interact with flags differently and stuff. Like little things like that are cool. Like that's how I think games are going to evolve in a technical way. And I think The Order is probably the most impressive one that does it so far. But man, Infamous looks real good too. Yeah. And I when we think about Resistance: Fall of Man, which is a launch game on PS3, and how fucking terrible that game looks now. And then we look at something like Shadowfall, which is probably the most graphically impressive next-gen game.
Yeah.
I think Shadowfall is going to stand up better over time because of where we are now than how Fall Man looks now.
Right, and they're also, like, Uncharted 1 looks way worse than Uncharted 3, but it still doesn't look bad. So I do think it, like, just depends on the game. Like, Uncharted 1 is still really bright and pretty. Obviously, like, yeah, when you compare it to Shadowfall, it looks like fucking garbage. But I think, you know, it doesn't.
But Shadowfall doesn't look like like much better than The Last of Us.
Right, exactly.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
So imagine what Naughty Dog's going to do.
Yeah, I mean the textures themselves do just because it's like a higher fidelity thing. But yeah, like, yeah, fuck, I can't wait to see Uncharted 4 on this thing or whatever the Uncharted game ends up being.
Before he goes, Yair puts in a PS. By the time this podcast goes live, it'll be official. So I just wanted to share with you guys that I got engaged.
Hey,
how much time has passed? I remember when he was hitting on these chicks at random Israel parties.
What if it's her?
That would be awesome, and they should have
time goes faster in Israel than it does here.
Does it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's how it works with the world spinning over there and whatnot.
It's
I didn't
like,
know that.
yeah, it's like we were talking about earlier about time and space.
Yeah,
I don't even remember what we were referencing earlier. My brain.
Well, there's a conversation with Colin about time travel and how you can just do it by leaving the Earth at a fast speed and then coming back, and it's time dilation.
I got in a fight with someone the other night. Not a fight, just an argument.
Bar brawl over time travel.
It wasn't a bar. It was about Professor X in the X-Men movies. Because it actually started as a Saved by the Bell conversation, like so many things do in my life recently, and about the timeout thing that Zach Morris does.
Yeah.
And now Professor X does that in the movie, but he's not stopping time. So it's like there's like a scene, I think it's in the second X-Men movie, where they're in like the Museum of Natural History. Oh yeah, that one too. But they're in like the Museum of Natural History, and everyone stops, and like Professor X and Storm are like talking or whatever.
Yeah.
But so time hasn't stopped. Like what Professor X is doing is he gets in everyone's brain, and they stop moving. But if you're like a mile away, like the world is still continuing to go. It's just that in that place,
those poor people in there lose minutes of their lives. They don't even know. Yeah,
Zach Morris actually does stop
Zach Morris
time.
stops time. Exactly. Those are two different things.
There was a great Family Guy reference in I think the most recent Family Guy where Meg's in school and the principal comes over an announcement speaker and does a normal announcement, and then at the end he just puts, and also Zach Morris, please stop. If you'd stop freezing time, the day would go faster for everyone. That was great. A quick one here. This is from Chris Brown. Again, not the woman beater, he says. Also, PSN, I need a rubber. Maybe neither of you guys were on the show. He's written it before. Beyond. Can y'all see if there's any way we could post video links to Twitter, maybe with the YouTube update in the future? He says C. They're not going to confirm that or deny that for us, but I would imagine that, that's all in line to happen, of course. Like, that's how this would work. We're talking about upgrades and what you're going to see. Right now, you can only post videos on your PS4 straight to Facebook, which sucks and stupid. Yep. But you'd imagine eventually you're going to be able to put them on a thumbstick, export them that way, put them onto YouTube.
The firmware's got to get going.
They have big things to do before they get to
like fixing the name situation.
Yeah,
I'm not going to stop beating that drum, Shuhei Yoshida, until
he's on it. He knows, bro.
It would be. I mean, I'm not going to change mine, but people should be able to.
I'm not going to change mine either. But it's just nice to know. It's just nice.
I thought you meant like the fact that like you go into name requests or whatever.
No,
it's all white.
That's a whole other issue. I'm talking about your PSA names. You got to change
it. I
that.
have like 600 name requests that I just can't do anything with because you can't actually open them. What you can do though, so like Tina sent me one, and if you know one specific person sent you one, you go to their profile and hit view name request and accept it that way.
Gotcha.
I mean, you're not going to do that for 600 people, obviously.
Gotcha. SM writes in and says, hey guys, I've been trying to figure out whether I should leave my PS4 in standby or off mode when I'm not playing it / overnight. What do you guys do?
I do standby so that it can do what PS3 did, which is turn on and get updates and do its thing. Because if you turn it off, I don't think it can do that.
That's exactly what I do too,
yeah.
Sorry, my alarm's going off here.
You gotta wake up?
I'm
all a dream, Colin. This whole episode's been a dream.
I gotta take my ulcer medicine.
Oh.
Is it a big hug? Can that be your ulcer medicine?
That's it. It's a big hug. And wash it down with a glass of milk. Yeah, I just shut mine off. So
you don't want automatic updates then?
No, I assume nothing's going to be updating anytime soon. So, yeah.
Well, you get a prettier yellow light. It keeps on a yellow light.
Yeah, I like that standby.
And it matches the controller light.
Looks like a broken Cylon when it's fucking
that standby mode. I send over there. I can remote play whenever I want to. Yeah. Download, right?
I'm going to keep mine in. Yeah.
It turns on to download now,
right?
Yeah,
so it turns on to download firmware updates and to upload your saves to the cloud. Same as PS3 did.
But I'm saying if I buy something off the store now, it's not to the point where it turns itself on to download it, right?
That's a good question.
Because I was doing a walkthrough video today that you can find on IGN.com, and it's it was like blah, 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 and it was like add to your download queue, and I did, but I didn't know if that meant that my PS4 in standby would wake up and
apparently last week I said something dumb about remote play. People keep tweeting me about. So
they can all go to hell.
No, I mean,
how dare you?
If I was wrong,
what did you say? Do you know what you were wrong about?
Some stupid garbage. Probably talking about BioShock or something.
Oh well, of course you're probably wrong about that. You're probably talking about how good it is. John writes in. It says Beyond. Now that the PlayStation 4 comes with a mono headset, do you think that the PSN will become more chatty like Xbox Live? Personally, I've always preferred playing on the PSN due to fewer amounts of trash-talking bros.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I sure hope not, but I think it's a battle lost now.
More people are going to be talking online.
I love playing The Last of Us or like Uncharted and no one is talking. Like
Yeah.
I love that. Like that's the best. And like there's one random person with a mic and he's like, "Hey guys,
Anybody got a mic?"
Anyone there?" And everyone's just like,
His sister's yelling at him in the background.
"Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't want.
I mean,
I don't
that,
like
that
stuff.
headset sucks that came with the PS4, but it's cool that it's there
Yeah.
so that people can use it. Also, I like that you can plug in any headset into that port. That's really cool.
Yeah, it works with your iPhone.
You don't need like an adapter. Oh, so the iPhone fits it because it's a 3.5 millimeter thing. Does like the mic functionality
I
work?
thought somebody said that. I thought Scott Lower Bryan said it did, but I'm not
That's
sure.
awesome if it does because I know like my old MacBook, because it wasn't the newest like Apple thing.
Yeah.
Like if I plugged in the iPhone, the mic part of it didn't work.
I haven't
so I
tested
didn't
it,
know
so
if
I'm
that
not
was
sure.
blocked by Apple. Yeah.
Right into
100%.
beyond.ign.com. Let us know. John has a PS. Why do you guys hate on Extreme Pizza? I used to work at the Fresno franchise in high school, and I always thought it was pretty good. I even delivered it and hung out with 311 on the tour bus, and it got their seal of approval. Boom goes the dynamite.
Yeah, because they were stoned. Now here's the
Any pizza in that moment, cardboard with pizza sauce on it probably would have been good. For me.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we talked crap about Extreme Pizza.
yeah, that's like an old reference.
That's old podcast beyond.
My favorite thing was we had a huge staff meeting. And Casey gathered everyone. He was like, "Guys, I ordered pizza."
And we're all like, "Yeah!"
It's
And then we're like,
free pizza
"Wait,
for
when is it?"
everyone. And he's like, "It was Extreme Pizza."
We're
And
like,
everyone
"Oh,
booed him.
yeah, yeah.
Booed him for his free pizza.
He had just started. He didn't know yet.
I'm like, yeah, Extreme Pizza sucks.
And
Sorry, sorry, my
again,
man.
with
maybe
the
the
Extreme
Fresno
Pizza,
one's good.
With the Extreme Pizza thing is, I like their buffalo chicken pizza, and when I would order it by myself, like get a one pizza, it was fine. But the problem is that IGN would order 400 pizzas,
Yeah.
and so the quality immediately knows, and it was just terrible.
Yeah, I've.
What's so extreme about it though?
They put anything you want on there.
Anything.
Human feet, they don't
so
care.
the few times I haven't gotten cheese, we go to Amici's for lunch. Sometimes I usually get pizza.
Yeah, I got a sub there.
And then Escape from New York, depending on what you order, can be hit or miss. But they can be good. But Pachis is always my go-to.
Yeah, Escape from New York's fine. Yeah. It's fine. That's actually somewhat of a New York analog pizza.
Mm-hmm. It's New York style.
Yeah.
It's not New York quality.
But they have like the shaved sausage on their
Yeah,
pizza, which
yeah,
is
yeah.
totally New York, like
Yeah,
that kind of stuff
totally.
instead of
and
like
they
the
have
crumbled
the cheese like
garbage.
springs out when you stretch
Yeah.
it. It doesn't. Yeah.
But yeah, I usually order Patchies. I ordered Pascal's last night,
Ooh.
Yeah.
which is good.
Interesting.
It's not anything to write home about.
I mean, I've had like Little Star. It's pretty good. Like there are places in San Francisco. That
There's
are
a
good.
place in the Richmond that my girlfriend loves. I can't
Zachary's?
remember what it is.
Remember like Zachary's?
No, it's in Italian.
People like Delfina. Have you been to 00 like right here?
Yeah.
I like 00.
I like
a lot.
00
Yeah.
too. This has been Pizza Corner on Podcast Beyond. Whenever you come to San Francisco, you'll know what pizzas to try and which to
just have
avoid.
Patchies and stay away from everything else.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Another John writes into Beyond at IGN.com and says, The Last of Us single-player DLC takes place before the main story. Consequently, this means that Ellie has never fired a gun, other than a BB rifle, or shot another human, as these events both take place in the main campaign. It is also during the main campaign that she learns how to fight and meets a clicker for the first time. Do you think that this means Last of Us DLC will feature no fighting and no clickers, but rather just an exploration game that tells a heartbreaking story between two best friends?
That's a really good question.
That's a really
Yeah.
really nice thought out
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog rarely flubs continuity. So I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I read American Dreams. We did a conversation about, where this all takes place and stuff. There they run into not a clicker, just one of the runners or whatever. Like she stumbles out and she's got a mushroom growing out of her face. They don't see a clicker, but they've encountered these things before. Obviously, she gets
And
bit.
it can just be people going, like, it can still be shitty people who know that bad stuff is going on in the world and you could have to fight. Because in The Last of Us, obviously, your combat is two categories. You're fighting, like, the infected, but they're just fighting, like, crappy people who are, like, scavenging for stuff. So it's like, I can see Ellie getting in some scraps, like, throwing some bricks at people.
And she's already done that in the American Dreams comic.
Yeah.
And this is,
So,
I'd imagine, taking place after that.
The best
Yeah.
part would be if Neil Druckmann's listening to this right now. It's like, oh no!
They're like, oh,
Fuck! Fire everything!
Delayed 6 months.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm sure.
Because I'm sorry, I've forgotten this part of the story. Is that all expressed in the game that she's like, I've never fired a gun and blah blah blah? I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either, but I'm assuming he's right.
Yeah, I'm assuming too. I don't remember her saying that or having a
Joel
conversation.
chooses her to shoot at that one point.
Yeah,
So-
but she's in she's just in a quarantine zone in a military academy. I mean, she's not been exposed to the outside before the Fireflies are trying to
And
transport her.
she like kills that one guy, and that's like a big moment too.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering. That's all. Just putting it out there because I mean, here's a test. When they run in and they get in the horse for the first time, does she talk about ever riding a horse before and stuff like that? I forget.
It's been
In American Dream, she rides a horse, and I was like, oh, I don't remember ever. I mean, it's without having read the comic book and playing the game and getting to the horse part, I wouldn't have been like, oh, this is weird. Like, why is she talking about horses? I wouldn't even thought it. I need to play it again in context now a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, those granular details. I do want to play Last of Us again before the end of the year, especially before Game of the Year voting. But yeah, I think that level of detail I don't remember, but I do think he's right that like it is a big deal when she shoots a gun, like because especially like when she saves Joel and they have.
It's when it's like the hunting rifle part, right? After they get out of the museum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Like those are big. So it's like even if she technically has fired a gun before, like she shouldn't be like you shouldn't be able to like mow guys down with headshots or anything. Yeah.
Well, John adds here, personally, I would prefer there to be no combat, as I am more interested in the story and exploring more of the world than seeing Ellie and Riley fight a bunch of infected.
Yeah, I bet you there will be combat.
There's definitely combat.
Even if it's just like even if it's like a forced stealth situation where you have to throw bricks at people to get around them or something. Like,
yeah, I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
I would like it to be in that like she doesn't kill anyone. Like there's no.
That would be great.
No combat. The most poignant parts of the game are in the quiet parts of the game where you're in people's houses and finding collectibles.
Right.
Or maybe like the whole thing you have machine guns and stuff, but then at the end they use the thing from Men in Black and her memory gets erased, and then that leads right into the beginning of The Last of Us.
That's one way to do it. And Neil Druckmann's writing that idea down right now.
It's like at the end, it would be really poetic. So the whole time she's like really good with guns and everything, and right at the end of the DLC, she's going to throw a brick. But she drops it and hits her in the head.
I was going to say, it bounces off the wall and hits her back on the head. She forgets that part of it.
She gets brain damage and she forgets how to shoot a gun.
It turns out she founded the Fireflies and forgot all about it. She's really a 40-year-old woman. Nobody put it together. Really small 40. Ray writes into Beyond at IGN.com and says, Beyond. Do you think people would be as upset with Kojima and Konami if Ground Zeroes was released after instead of before the main release and simply called DLC instead of a prequel game? When Capcom did this exact same thing with Dead Rising Case Zero, granted at a cheaper price point, they were lauded for it.
Yeah, well, so Dead Rising Case Zero was brilliant in my opinion because it was like really smart, short introduction to the systems, introduction to new mechanics, and then like you jumped right into Dead Rising 2 and it made sense.
Yeah.
I think this isn't meant to be that though. It is technically a prologue, but I mean, it's $30 to $40, so it's like I'm expecting it to be like hours. Like if this is like 8 hours long, I think it's totally worth it.
Yeah,
maybe not 8, but I mean like if it's like 4 to 6 hours long,
I bet it's gonna be like 6 hours.
Yeah,
long. And I mean we're talking. I bet the campaign probably 4 hours, and then like all the side missions and ops. I bet that's where you get to 6.
Yeah, I mean if it's like a substantial piece of content, I think it's totally justified. To his point though, no, I mean I think it. I would assume being a prologue, you need to know this information. Like I think they're not looking for it to be like just more Metal Gear. They want it to be specifically setting up the events of Metal Gear 5.
I'm super stoked for it. After seeing it in action, man, I cannot wait. I'm super happy.
You can turn off that alarm, right?
But he's going to forget about it, and then he won't take the ulcer, and he'll become the ulcer.
The first thing I'm going to do when we leave this room is tell you to take your ulcer medication.
Thank you.
All right. Final question of the week comes from Paul. He says Beyond. I want to buy a PS Vita this Thanksgiving. I played Hotline Miami and Guacamelee on PS3 and really loved them. I'm super excited for all the indie titles to come out on Vita. But with this new PS Vita model coming out in Japan, I can't really decide which model to buy. The new PS Vita has a slimmer and lighter design and a longer battery life, while the old one has a better screen, which is that OLED. So what's your opinion on this? Should I buy an old Vita this holiday, or should I wait for the new one and see if it's coming to the US? Thanks, love the show, Beyond.
Get the OLED one.
Yeah, I would say get the OLED one. The one thing I wish I had in my OLED Vita is the micro USB charging thing instead of that proprietary one. Yeah. That's like
is that what the new one has?
Yeah. Ooh, so it's like, to me, that is the most appealing. As stupid as that sounds, that's like actually the best feature of that whole thing. Because then it's just so much easier to charge everywhere. Like I have like a cable with me at all times anyway. Like usually because I'm charging other stuff. So that would be nice. But other than that, I think you want the quality of the screen. And in like now there have been some pretty in-depth screenshot comparisons, and like the OLED just looks significantly better.
Yeah, I mean obviously it is because the OLED's more expensive, and they're trying to make this thing cheaper, and making it thinner means less plastic. It's all very granular kind of thing where they're trying to remove as much money as possible from this.
Yeah.
But I messed around with it in Japan, and to me it felt fine, but it felt weird, and maybe that's just because I'm used to the form factor of the Vita. I felt like it was too thin. Like I felt like I could break it, like if I like literally just wanted to, I could just break the thing in half. And obviously I couldn't do that, but it just seems like so flimsy to me. Not necessarily. I know flimsy obviously is a loaded word, but it's so light and
I want
something meatier, and the battery life's great.
Yeah,
the screen is I'm sure gonna be fine.
You didn't see anything on it, right? Was that the thing, or
like there was like demos playing on it, but I was in Sony Japan's
HQ?
like huge lobby, and
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't a great place for me to mess around with it. But you know,
I'm buying
we're gonna import one.
Nope. Well, you can if you want, but next week I'm going and buying a pink and black one in Japan, and I'm bringing it back with me.
I'm going to give you money for a 64 gig memory card.
I'm buying that for myself too. These are my 2 big purchases over there, and I'm coming back, and so we can do all the comparisons we want.
That'd be great. Yeah, the one thing, and I sent you guys an email about this today, you and Scott, but just in case anyone's curious out there, because I've been reading a little bit about PS Vita TV, stay away from importing it.
Oh right, yeah. I meant to tell you this too.
Like,
I talked about it in the New York thing, but you can only access the Japanese store.
Yeah, it's region locked, and that sucks because PlayStation is usually very open about that stuff. But what that tells me is that they're going to release it elsewhere, and they're releasing it elsewhere in Asia, so they're going to have to unlock it for those regions, Hong Kong and stuff like that. But hopefully that will come here as well. And I think they were really surprised by the demand of PS Vita TV, so I don't think they had plans on releasing it here, but I think they will end up doing it in probably a limited way.
I bet it'll come out in a bundle with the PSP GPS I've been waiting on too.
Oh.
So it'll be here any second. We get all the peripherals.
It would be awesome if they bundled PS Vita TV, PS Vita, and PS4 together.
You make the most insane bundles. Like,
for $99.
for $300 with Killzone Shadowfall.
Yeah, that's like the people who think Valve is going to make the Orange Box 2 and it's going to have Team Fortress 3, Left 4 Dead 3, Half-Life 3 and be $60.
I'd play that.
Literally never happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Podcast Beyond, episode 319. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember that Podcast Beyond posts every Tuesday on the podcast service of your choice, but also over on that IGN.com. So you should go there, read the articles, watch the videos, subscribe to Prime. It keeps the mics on. Then you should follow everybody on Twitter. IGN's IGN. I'm Game Over Greggy. Goldfarb is Garfep. No taxation is Colin Moriarty. You're right. When I take out the Andrew, that's all I needed.
The Andrew is what was fucking you up.
Whew.
You also I'm watching you. No, the reason I'm smiling is because I got a notification on my phone. I'm watching you sit and talk to me.
Yeah.
But I guess he would schedule a tweet, and it mentions me. So you tweeted at me while you were...
Oh, the power of Hootsuite.
I just love that. That was a funny moment for me.
Yeah, I'm just beaming tweets from my head. Or I just had...
You have one hand typing.
Like, I hired Mike Mitchell to ghostwrite tweets for me after the New York Comic Con incident. I'm like, this is a good idea.
Yep.
Someone else should do this.
Users lose all sense of reality and enter another world. Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.